You are now listening to the Fighting Back podcast, and here's your host, Jessica Travis.
Welcome to the Fighting Back podcast. We have an awesome episode today. Can AI replace your lawyer? And I am so happy. Joining me today is Scott Newbern, a data analyst who works with organizations to help them understand patterns, risks, and outcomes. Scott, thank you so much for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about what it means to be a data analyst and what do you do?
Thanks for having me here. I hope you don't mind me wearing my jersey, and it's the Olympics, so
Love it.
trying to support U.S. Basically, I've been doing data analytics and auditing for about 18 years now. Right now, I work for Publix, and it basically support the marketing department. We take a look at data and try to translate it into answering questions, solving problems, and helping them make decisions that are faster, easier, and better.
So how do you incorporate AI into your work?
It's basically a tool. It's right now I kind of compare it. It's the new Excel. Like if you go back 30 years ago, before Excel, people were manually typing calculations in calculators, and they're doing it from scratch. And Excel came in, and then now you can open up a spreadsheet and type formulas, and it does it faster and automatically. And then more other technology came out a few years ago with like Python and coding, and now AI is just the new tool that helps you do things more efficiently and faster. So
I know a lot of times people hear AI, they imagine robots making decisions.
yeah,
But what is the decision-making process that AI is doing? Is it reasoning? Is it?
it's reasoning, but not the human reasoning. Like humans, we're self-aware, we're conscious, we have judgment, we have emotions, all that kind of, whether we want to or not, that kind of goes into our decision making. AI, it reasons, but it's limited. It only does it based off the rules and parameters or data and information that it has. Like it won't necessarily, it can give based on analysis or information. It might categorize things and make a suggestion, but it doesn't have the human judgment aspect to offer that kind of additional context and human reasoning.
And so you mentioned AI uses the resources, the tools, and the data that it has. Where then does AI get that data? We talk about human reasoning, right? And so we know it comes from the brain. You know, we have all of this memories and data and knowledge stored in our brain. But when we're talking about AI using its own form of reasoning, what data, tools, resources is it relying on?
Various things. It has part of what AI does. It goes out on the internet and it just searches all the different resources that are out there available. But then a lot of times it's based on whatever data you give it. I have an example of pre-AI, like when I was working at Verizon about 10 years ago now. Me and my boss got hired to a brand new team that was being developed in our office, and our first assignment was to take a look at this model that a colleague of ours put together. And she's a brilliant coder, great. She could, back 10 years ago when way before AI, you had to rely on coders to write the code from scratch, build the model, do all of this, and she was a genius. However, the model that we were looking at actually came from my boss's old department within the company, so he knew what to expect for an outcome. And when he looked at it, his initial reaction was, "It's totally wrong." And like this brilliant person,
because of the data that was being put into the model,
right? Exactly, 100%. So my boss went to our colleague and was like, "So, how did you do this? Did you talk to the business? Did you talk to the department?" And her answer was like, "No, I read an article and I did it myself." And she, so it was totally, even though she built a brilliant model that did everything that it was intended to do, because she didn't talk to the business, because she didn't have the knowledge, know to ask the right questions, know what variables to put into it. Even though it did what it was intended to do, it was totally wrong. And that's where AI comes in now. Now, you don't necessarily need to know how to code from scratch. AI can do that for you way faster. I used AI yesterday to build something in 2 hours, which before AI would maybe take me 3 or 4 days. And but it's still, you have to have the knowledge, the business acumen or the legal knowledge to ask the right questions. AI is just a tool that helps you do it faster. It's a classic cliche, garbage in, garbage out. AI can do all this great stuff, but if you hit garbage in, garbage out, if you don't ask the right questions, give it the right information, the result is not going to be correct.
So when we're talking about the normal AI tools that everyday people use, right? The different, platforms that use AI, you ask them questions and all of that. Um, that data we talk, and I know there's a little bit of mention between open source and closed source as far as where you get the data from.
Mhm.
And these type of platforms that normal everyday people are using, where is that data coming from? Is it open source, closed source, that kind of thing?
I mean, it depends. AI has access to open source data. It's partially how it does its processing. You could go ask it what are the top movies out right now. It'll go out and search the internet, which is all open source information, and tell you what these the top movies right now. Other things, I mean, if it's within a business, it's closed source within its own business environment that it has maybe sensitive data like private, we call it PII, like personal information, private information, or
Right.
and so yeah, that would be closed source. But then, like for example, where I work, we have our own internal customized AI because of security. So it only it'll read, say, the internal private information within the company, but it's secure. So that information is still closed source within the company. It's not thrown out there for anyone else to get. So it depends on how it's set up, and it depends on basically it has both open and closed.
And I think with the open source, you've run into issues where because it's getting everything off the internet and using that data, sometimes that data may be inaccurate.
Correct.
Because of that
Yeah.
open source.
And that's where you still have to have the knowledge, because like it'll bring back an answer, but once again, if you ask the wrong question or if you don't know, have at least some knowledge and expectation of what the answer should be, you won't know if that answer is right or wrong.
Well, let me bring this into the legal world. A lot of people are now using AI tools to ask legal questions instead of speaking to an attorney. But most AI tools use the public. Most AI tools that are used by the public use the open source models that we are talking about and use the internet as the legal authority, which can sometimes be wrong.
Mhm.
So, as a data analyst, how do you use AI for legal issues, and when do you reach out to professionals?
Well, honestly, I am in trouble. I would just talk to my wife, but or I'd call you. But yeah, no, if I am in trouble, I might personally, if I did not know a bunch of lawyers, I would probably just like would use Google before. I might do a little searching just to try and gain a little information. But I still, even if the information I get back, I still want a professional. Like I have just my own knowledge of AI. It's a tool.
Right.
Yes, it can help me do a little research. It can help me find out some information, but I don't have enough industry knowledge for me to that be just the answer. I still need to talk to a professional because maybe, especially with the law, there are different interpretations. Like there's the defense versus the prosecution. It might all be the same evidence, but you can interpret it differently, and that's where AI cannot help you. Like it'll maybe categorize something, give suggestions, but it won't be the final answer. You still need to talk to a professional. But what I would use AI for is to find the right professional rather than having to do my own manual research, read Google's, look at headlines. All right, I need a criminal defense attorney. Give me the top 5 choices here in Orlando. AI can do that in seconds. That's
and
what I
read
use it for.
reviews and
Correct.
see what other people are saying about the
Correct.
attorney.
Right. Rather than
That
me having to
makes
go
sense.
do the all manual research, that might take days, hours.
Right.
AI, you ask it to read the reviews, read customer approvals, read websites, based on all that, this is what I need. Give me my top 5 choices within maybe a certain budget. And that is where AI can help you do that. Rather than spending days to find the lawyer, you could do it in minutes.
And with the law, there are a lot of gray areas. So there are a lot of, I know as a lawyer, I say all of the time to a lot of questions, really, it depends. It depends on different factual situations. Your arguments can vary. We kind of live in those gray areas of life. With AI, though, does AI work well in those gray areas?
It does not. It basically AI. It can make decisions for you. It does. Like as I said earlier, it does do reasoning, but it's limited. It's based on rules. It's based off information. It's based off data. It doesn't have the human interpretation of it. So gray area might actually just be another category for AI.
Right.
It's either clearly black, it's clearly white, or it's somewhere in between. And it might tell you that, but it won't be able to tell you your situation. Where would my situation fall? What would be the answer to your point? The legal community, that's the whole reason we have the court system, because of those gray areas. So one side thinks it's black, the other side thinks it's white, and whichever one can prove their argument better.
And I think there's also an accountability aspect to it as well, right?
Yeah.
So lawyers, we are licensed, we are held accountable if we don't do our job properly, if we don't give you the right legal advice or interpret the laws correctly, we're held accountable. I think with AI, is there really any type of accountability if an AI tool gives you the wrong output or the wrong information?
That is actually an interesting question now that I think about it. The tool itself, there's no accountability.
Right.
But I mean, if you actually want to try and you could maybe start a lawsuit, depending on how someone uses that information, the business could potentially be held accountable. But that opens up a whole can of worms.
But you can't sue the AI tool,
right? Exactly, you cannot,
for giving you the wrong legal decisions.
No, that's on you. Like if you are choosing to use AI in the legal area, you are taking that responsibility. It's like someone choosing to defend themselves.
Right.
You're still taking on that responsibility. AI just now is the tool that you are using, but you are the person that is accountable, not the tool.
And I'm going to ask you this directly.
Yeah.
Would you use AI alone to make a high stakes decision in your personal or professional life?
I would use it to gather all the information.
Okay.
Like I would use it to do research. I'd use it to give me all the information I need. I'd use it to maybe give me what are my top choices in this situation. I'd use it to help me make the decision, but I'm still the one who ends up making the decision.
Okay. So I think what I'm hearing from you is really, it's not don't use AI. AI is terrible, but it's more of understand what AI is designed to do and use it properly for those tools.
Correct. I mean, honestly, I highly encourage you to use AI. Like I was slow to start, but now I use it daily. Just it could summarize emails. It could draft up an email. Honestly, I know a colleague of my wife's had it draft up a contract. Like it can help you do things faster, but say in the contract example, you still have to have the legal knowledge to make sure it's doing it correctly. Does it have all the right clauses? Does it have all the right parameters? Is it for the right client? I use it to write code. I use it to analyze data and stuff I can do. It just helps me do it faster. Same thing with the law. If you have an entire case that's 100 pages long or a brief that's 50 pages long, throw it into AI. Give me the quick insights. Like it can help you do your job faster, but it's just a tool. It can't be the end all be all decision.
And that's a distinction I really want listeners to understand. Use AI to get informed. But when your future, your record, or your family is involved, you need someone who can analyze nuance, strategy, and human behavior in real time. If you had to summarize in one sentence, what is AI?
Not to be repetitive, AI is the tool.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tools are great, but they can only be helpful and they do not take the place of a real legal professional. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I really appreciated your insight, your information. I loved the conversation about AI, and thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for listening. If you found this episode helpful or informative, don't forget to follow us on social media and share this podcast with your friends. Like, follow, subscribe so you never miss a show, and help others know their rights by spreading the word. Your support helps us keep fighting back. The information provided in the Fighting Back podcast is for general informational purposes only and is not intended as legal advice. Every case is unique and should be reviewed by a qualified attorney who can provide guidance based on the specific facts and circumstances of your case. Listening to this podcast does not create an attorney-client relationship with Vital Law or any of its attorneys. If you are facing any legal issue, we strongly encourage you to consult with a licensed attorney directly.